Welcome to the Spotlight Podcast. This is Coach Anthony Williams, founder and CEO of Connected Athletics. For those of you that are not aware of who we are a startup technology company based in Austin, Texas. We are focused on using technology and a platform for all student athletes, boys and girls across all Title IX sports to help them successfully transition from high school to college and then either into their sport professionally or into a career and help them be successful once they become employed after graduation. We are excited to have our following sponsors who have done a great job in supporting us. As you can see there, Go Edit Graphics is a company based out of Nebraska. They do a great job of helping high school and college athletic programs build these dazzling graphics to showcase their athletic programs through player spotlights, schedules, or any type of communication outbound to their fan base or outside of the department. Buffalo Wild Wings, we all love wings, and Buffalo Wild Wings is a partner with us since the fall. They do a great job of supporting Texas high school sports here in the state of Texas. My good friend Brian Soltis is the regional GM who set it up, and I want to thank him and the rest of the Buffalo Wild Wings team for being a sponsor. And then lastly, Epic. Epic is a new and exciting sports apparel company based in Houston, Texas. The CEO is a good friend of mine, Stefan Johnson. Epic stands for Every Play I Compete. And they do basically apparel, they do uniforms, they do 7-on-7 jerseys, they do gloves, they do sweats, they do shirts, they do masks, they do caps, pretty much everything. And they've got pretty dazzling style to their gear. So if you're interested in some of their data and some of their products, go to their Twitter page right now. They're working on their website. They are located on Twitter at I am Epic 247. So we thank all of our sponsors for doing that. But let's get back to why we're really here and talk with yet another exciting prospect. Diego Chapa is a class of 24 athlete. He is at Navarro High School, not Navarro, Texas. He's in Seguin, so make sure you understand which high school he's at. He's 5'8", 160 pounds. Love the GPA, 3.7. He's an honor roll student. And coaches, you can see his Twitter there. Diego, how you doing this evening?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing outstanding, man. I'm excited to hear your story. Thanks for reaching out to us and sharing with us about your football journey. And we know you're only a freshman, but I know you've got plans to use football to get the best education you can get. So let's jump right into that, if you don't mind. But, obviously, Diego, the first thing college coaches in the recruiting process, me being a former coach, we want to talk about is academics. Tell us about the importance that you put on your academics that drive that 3.7 GPA.
Personally, I've lived by a saying that it's a student athlete. Student becomes before athlete, and so that is more important during the day. Getting through school, getting good grades, and focusing on school before the last bell rings, and then it's straight to athletics.
Okay, good stuff. Tell us, what are some of your favorite classes at school?
Personally, I really prefer math and I'd say science. Those really interest me at pretty much anything we're doing, and those are probably my favorite too.
Okay. There isn't as you being a student athlete now, being an old student athlete, there's always a teacher, a coach, a counselor, an AP, or a principal, or somebody on campus that helps us academically. Take this time to shout out somebody either at the high school or in the middle school who's made a difference in your life from an academic standpoint.
I would like to shout out Coach Rod Blunt, our athletic director. I would like to shout out Coach Caleb Morelli and Coach Guerrero. Those are three main influences in my life.
Okay. And tell us specifically, what are they doing to keep you locked in on keeping those high academics?
Coach Blunt is always a mentor of mine. He always keeps me on a straight path and never lets me take the easy road. Coach Caleb Morelli always brightens my day up, always gets me in the mood to learn. And Coach Guerrero is always a strict teacher and a coach, but knows when to crack a joke and when to loosen things up.
Awesome. I love hearing that. Thanks for shouting them out. You know, do you have an idea? I know you're 3 years away from graduation, but do you have an idea what you might want to major in when you get to the college level?
Yes, sir, I do. I've always wanted to. I want to major in engineering.
Okay. I'm an engineer graduate myself. Is there a specific discipline? I started out as architectural, then went mechanical, and finished electrical. What do you plan on focusing on?
I'm leaning towards the mechanical and chemical
Okay,
engineering,
I
both
like
and
it.
both.
All right, good stuff. Tell us, what do you? One of the things coaches want to understand is what type of learning style their athletes have, both in the classroom and on the field. Would you consider yourself more of a verbal, visual, or hands-on learning style?
Um, I would say I'm a visual learner. I like to see how to do things, and then I could do them with ease. And
Okay.
that,
Is that the same thing in the classroom and on the field? Do you have different learning styles based on the classroom or in the on the field of football?
um, I personally like seeing how a problem is done, then go over in my head for about 30 seconds, and then I'll catch on to it really quick. And same with drills or plays and anything like that.
Okay. I mentioned earlier you got the strong GPA there, 3.7. Have you always been a good student athlete, or are you just new to it? Or tell us about your academic journey. Have you always been a good student?
Yes, sir. My mom and dad has been really strict on me and praising that grades are very vital to getting somewhere in the world.
Okay. Eventually we're going to get through this pandemic and coaches will be able to get back on campus very soon. For a coach who hasn't come to campus and seen you in the classroom yet, give these coaches an advance trailer. What kind of student are you in the classroom? Are you sitting in the front? Are you engaged with the teachers? Are you engaged with your classmates? Tell us a little about what the kind of person they're going to see in the classroom setting.
I always like to get to know my teachers very well to see how what kind of their learning style or teaching style is,
Mm-hmm.
and like my learning style on that. Um, I, I I like to sit in the front, learn more, and I have really good relationships with all the students.
Okay. Obviously, high school is hard, but college is harder. Tell these coaches when you do have that one class in college, or maybe even now that you struggle with, what do you do to get help? Are you somebody that's just going to try and put your head down and get through it? Are you okay with looking to get assistance by a tutor? Tell us what you do when you come across a really hard class or a really hard assignment.
Usually, I would stay after class or usually stay after school, put in extra work with the teacher to help me understand the criteria. Um, yeah, just and if I do need it, I get one of my smarter friends or a tutor to help me understand it and eventually get a hold of it.
Okay, good. I like that. Hey, let's switch over to learning more about you personally, Diego. Tell us about your family. You mentioned your mom and dad earlier. What do they do? Are they former athletes? Are you an only child? Are you the oldest, the youngest? Give us a little bit more about the Chapa family.
I am the oldest of my three siblings. Two are with my mom, and one is with my dad. Uh, Two sisters, a baby brother. Love them all to death. I'm always a role model to them. I have
Yep.
to set the good example, and my parents are hard on me by doing the right thing for them.
Okay. What do your mom and dad do for a living?
My mom, she is a nurse for the CNM,
Okay.
and my dad works as a analyst for the IRS.
Okay. Good stuff. Shout out to your mom. I'm sure she's dealing with COVID-19 on a daily basis. So we hope that she's safe. And kudos to her for being on the front lines during this pandemic. Want to shout her out real quick. Were either your mom or dad athletes back in the day?
Yes, sir. My dad is a big football player, big football fan, and my mom was a big soccer player.
Okay. Good stuff. So you got a sports background there. Tell us when you're not working out, getting ready for the season, and you're not in season, when you have free time, Tell us, what are some of your hobbies? What do you do interests outside of football?
Usually in the weight room. Uh, my friends make fun of me a lot because not having a social life, but I prefer being in the weight room than going to parties and stuff.
Okay. Good. That's a good response. Tell us, I mean, always, as a former college coach, we always want to find out how tall the parents are to kind of understand your growth spurt. Tell us, what is your mom and dad's height and weight, or not so much the weight, but what is their height?
My mom is 5'5",
Okay.
and my dad is 5'7".
Okay. And so you're 5'8" already, still a freshman. Tell these coaches, what do you think your height and weight will be by the time you graduate from Navarro?
I would say about 5'10".
Okay. All right. Good to know. Social media is a big part of recruiting, as you know, Diego. You've got a really good Twitter timeline. For a coach that hasn't been on your timeline yet and seen your Twitter handle or Twitter feed, tell them, what kind of message are you putting out there about yourself? Are you all business? Are you, tell us what kind of content you're putting out there about yourself as a student athlete.
Well, first of all, I'm not obviously not posting anything dumb or that could for that can later on affect my recruiting. Or
Mm-hmm.
I'm usually all business, all sports, and that's really it.
Good. That's good to hear. I can tell you, from somebody who tracks a lot of athletes around the country, you want to have content on there that is positive about you, your teammates, your community, your high school, supporting other sports. As coaches, we love that because it shows us a little bit about who you are before we even meet you. So keep that in mind as you go forward in the recruiting process. A couple of what I call my favorite questions. What is your favorite all-time football movie?
My favorite all-time movie would probably be Remember the Titans.
Okay, good
And
choice. One of my favorites.
I'm having a brain fart right now. I cannot remember the movie. It's I don't know. It's the one with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, Invincible?
Yes, sir. That's the one.
Okay. Yeah, good movie. Absolutely. Okay. What is your choice to choose dinner, or when you got to choose whatever you want to eat, what's your favorite food?
Buffalo Wild Wings.
Good answer. I like that. Okay. What about music taste? What kind of music do you listen to? Do you have a favorite artist? Tell us a little bit about that.
I've always grew up listening to my dad's music. I'm always a 90s, 80s listening to all of that. I'm usually into 80s rap, 90s rap. I'd say
Nice.
my favorite rapper is probably Ice Cube or
Okay.
Dr.
Hey, kudos to your dad for teaching you what real rap is like before you understand today. Nothing against today's group, but 80s and 90s rap is when it all started. So tell them shout out for that. I love that. Another question that coaches want to understand, Diego, is who's going to be involved in helping you make the decision when it's time to commit to a college? Who's going to be involved in that process with you? So Diego, one of the things college coaches always want to know about is who's going to be involved with you in helping you make your decision on what school you'll eventually commit to as a junior or senior. Who's that going to be?
First and foremost, it's gonna be my dad. My dad's the most influential person in my life, but it's gonna be my dad and my dad's family.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Do you have a choice? Do you want to stay in state, or are you looking to go to any school across the country?
I would. My dream school is the University of Texas, but anywhere I would be fine going to any college.
Okay. Good to know. Tell us, there's not a student athlete in high school that doesn't love playing in front of a large crowd on Friday nights with the community supporting us. But tell these coaches right now, what are you doing to give back to those same people who cheer for you on Friday nights? Are you involved in your church? Are you involved in a nonprofit, Boys and Girls Club? What are you doing to give back to the community there in Seguin?
I go to church every Sunday, and I usually volunteer for volleyball games, help the concession stand, every something like that.
Okay. Good stuff. All right, so you're giving back. I like that. This is one of my favorite questions because football, as much as I love the game and you love the game, eventually it will come to an end. What do you think? What do you want your life to look like when football's over, whenever that is, whether it's after a 10-year career in the NFL or it's after college? What do you want your life to look like personally and professionally when it's all over?
Personally, I would like to always look back and not have a regret that I could have, would have, could have, should have, could have done something that could have helped my team win the state championship or something like that.
Okay.
Professionally, I would like to have a steady job, one with a good, hopefully a good pay,
Yeah.
and that I'd be set financially.
You know, we talked about you being an engineer earlier. Do you want to work for a big engineering firm, or do you want to start out on your own and do your own thing? What are your goals there?
Personally, I would like to work in a big company, see how try to work my way up.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would like that.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. One of my other favorite questions is, you know, how would your coaches and teammates describe you as a teammate?
They probably would describe me as a hardworking, serious, uh, ecstatic when it comes to games,
Mm-hmm.
and just um, how do I say it? Inspiring, I guess. Well,
Yeah.
I love to make people get people better, especially in
Okay.
the weight room or in the drills when they're struggling. I love to cheer them on.
I get the feeling you're a high energy guy, that you're kind of a spark plug and kind of get excitement on the sidelines or by making a big play. Are you that guy on the team?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lose myself every once in a while, but
I picked
it
it up Diego, when I watched your highlight video and I saw some of the great plays you were making. I saw the reaction to the sidelines, and you know, we all cheer for our teammates, but there's something special about you that people are just going crazy when you're running through three guys or you know outrunning people and scoring, making big plays. I noticed that you had the team really responds to you, which actually is a great show of leadership. So kudos to you on that. Tell me, keeping it light here, what's your favorite all-time sports memory of yourself, whether it was back in Pop Warner or this past season? What's your favorite sports memory of maybe your best play or best game you've ever had?
I'd say my best memory is the first touchdown I scored. Uh, I remember it was a bootleg. I used to play quarterback
Mm-hmm.
back in the day. Quarterback, bootleg. All took it to the house, and I remember my dad. As soon as I crossed the goal line, he sprinted out to the field and threw me up in the air, and he. But that's probably my favorite memory.
That's awesome. I love that. Love hearing that. You know, we just finished your freshman season. You're going into your sophomore year. Give me an idea of your takeaways. What are some of your strengths that you're taking in the next season? And what are some of the things you learned this freshman season that you're working on for next year?
My strengths are, you know, being a good leader, always being really coachable. That's something that the coaches really like in me.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say one of my weaknesses are I can't. I'm trying to. I know I have a lot of weaknesses, but I can't really think of anything major.
Let me throw out a couple that I rate and evaluate most running backs on. Ball security, catching the ball in the backfield, blocking, picking up blitzes. Any one of those to ring a bell or no?
I would say yes. I'd say blocking,
Okay.
the big guys. I
Yeah.
gotta somehow figure out how to move those big men, but I'm learning on that.
No, that's honest, and I can tell you, I played linebacker, you know, back in the day, and you know, whenever I see a running back like yourself that's a little bit smaller, you don't know if it's going to cut you or like you have good strength. Sometimes they catch you up on your chin and lift you up. So I would tell you as the development point going forward, mix it up. When they think you're going to cut them, hit them in the chin. When they think you're going to hit them in the chin, cut them and just keep them off balance because I mean, to be honest, you're not a 6 foot, 200-pound running back. So you've got to do what you got to do to get the job done. So I think coach will definitely like that. Let's switch over to recruiting right now. I know you're just now finishing your, finishing your freshman season. But, let me tell you, you mentioned earlier about the weight room. Why do you love working on your strength conditioning so much? Why do you love the weight room?
It's a lot of people have their own different hobbies or like ways to escape, and that's mine. I I like being by myself or being with a buddy and just getting better on the way doing it.
Would I be correct in probably saying that you're pound for pound, you're probably one of the strongest guys on your team? Would I be correct in saying that?
Yes, sir.
I could tell, definitely. Um, there are usually two types of players, Diego. There's those players that love to practice and then play on Friday nights. And then there's some players that just, I don't really like to practice. I just want to turn the flip a switch on Friday night. Which one are you?
I'm one of those players who knows that practice isn't the greatest thing, but I love it because it gets us better and it gets us ready for Friday night. And I try to get that into my other teammates' eyes and minds.
Nice. I like it. Okay. Tell us, is there a certain running back at the college or pro level that you kind of pattern your game off of, or somebody you look up to? And who is that?
I always watch his film. I always look up to Barry Sanders. He's a big one. And one currently is Deuce Vaughn. He plays for Kansas State. Little guy, but man, I like to look like him in the future.
So I want to let the audience know that I did not tell him to say that. Diego, Deuce Vaughn is my nephew. We're very proud of him, and I've watched him grow from being a smaller size running back and never had that growth spurt. But you remind me a lot of him. He's a hard worker. He doesn't make excuses. Hey, I can't affect my height, but I can affect my speed, my quickness, my strength, and how he plays. And that's one of the reasons why he was a freshman All-American this year at Kansas State. So I appreciate you shouting him out. But yeah, he's a special kind and somebody you should definitely look up to. Tell me, being a football player, being a student athlete, you have to be able to overcome some type of adversity, whether it's injury or a tough class or, balancing life at home with football. Tell us about a time in your life where you had to deal with some type of adversity, whether it be personal or dealing with football.
A very rocky part of my life was dealing with my parents' divorce and moving from New Mexico to Texas, and it was pretty hard adjusting and not seeing my mom anymore. But they figured out all the custody issues. But thankfully, I had football season rolling up, making new friends, and just doing what I love.
Man, that is as honest you can get. I appreciate you sharing that. That's big time adversity. Divorces are never easy, and families are split. But it sounds like you've made a nice transition from New Mexico to Seguin and doing well in the classroom and doing well in the field. I appreciate you sharing that. Diego, as we finish up here, tell us, how do you define leadership, and how do you plan on leading your team as a sophomore next year?
I define leadership as setting a good example. No matter what, in anything you do, no matter if the coaches have their eyes straight on you or if no one's looking, just doing the right thing no matter what, and just going full speed in every drill and everything you do. If you have a test, get 100 on it. If you have a 40, run the fastest 40 you can, and it's just stuff like that.
I like it. Okay, I appreciate that. Hey, as we finish up here, last question. Coaches love coaching players who are, super competitive. Look at the camera and tell these coaches, how competitive are you as a football player?
I lose my mind. I don't lose my mind. I lose myself during athletics or athletic period. We always have a competition day, and I kind of upset a couple of my fellow classmates, you know, beating them, or if they beat me. If they beat me, then I'm getting you next time. But if I beat them, they won't hear the end of it till the period is over. And just I get on them to try to beat me, to
Yeah.
make me bad, to get them better.
Good. I like that. That's true definition of competition. You know, for coaches that maybe came in the middle or towards the end of this interview and didn't hear it all, summarize it. Look in the camera right now, Diego, and tell these coaches why they should recruit you and what you're going to bring to their football program.
You're gonna get a hard worker, one that doesn't take the easy road, no matter how hard it gets. One who likes the challenge, and that if I get knocked down, or if I am struggling with something, then I promise you I'll get back up and try again. And no matter what, I would always try my hardest and get it right, get it done.
Nice. Well, Diego, man, I'm excited. I'm glad we had a chance to get to know each other better and me to understand your football journey. You're just now a freshman. I've been helping coach and recruit and helping kids out all across the country. I'm always here. I'm a phone call away, or hit me on DM if you ever have any questions about recruiting or you need me to put you in front of some schools. Don't hesitate to reach out. You're part of the Spotlight Podcast alumni, and we're here to help student athletes be successful. So congratulations on the great GPA, on a great season. And I look forward to catching back up with you again, probably next year, going into your sophomore year.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, man, have a good night. Yeah.
I forgot to shout out one of my influential people is
Yeah.
my stepmom, Leah Barnett, or now Leah Chapa. She's been since I was 2, since my parents divorced, and she's been another mom to me. And I'm sorry I forgot to shout you out in the first place, but
well, I'm sure she'll like that she was the last thing that we brought up before we ended, man. I appreciate you doing that, man. Sounds like you have a great family. You've transitioned really well. I fully expect you to continue to be successful academically and athletically going forward, man. Have a good rest of your night, and we'll talk soon, okay?
Yes, sir. You too.
All right, thanks.